This weekend, El Salvador is holding its general election, and all eyes are on incumbent President Nayib Bukele. He came to power in 2019 and has since overseen a vast and brutal crackdown on gangs that terrorized the nation for decades, arresting more than 75,000 people. His popularity has soared, but his government has been accused of mass human rights abuses and dismantling democratic institutions. Judges allied with Bukele reinterpreted a constitutional ban on re-election, clearing his path to run for a second term, along with his vice president, Felix Ulloa, who sat down with me in San Salvador earlier this week. I asked him how long his country can continue with mass arrests and detentions.
This is a big change, and this happened because our policies regarding the, dealing with the gangs, the violence in the community, and the decision by the President Bukele to face this challenge. For us, when we took office, it was the first challenge, to bring back the peace, the harmony to the communities that were under the control of the gangs. So once we declared the war against the gangs, in year 2022, we started dealing with these criminal structures. Now we have over 76,000 captured inmates coming from those structures. And the issue of the sustainability of this process, as we said, is now in the hands of the population, because now the people trust in the institutions. We can say that this is a new country.
At the same time, you've gone from having the highest murder rate in the world to now having the highest incarceration rate in the world. The criticism is that there are a lot of innocent people being rounded up and detained. Can you continue with that?
Take a look to the big picture. We have so far 76,000 imprisoned inmates. From those, most of 90% of them are verified that they belong to the gangs and to the criminal structure.
90% of
90%,
them.
because from all these persons that has been captured over these 2 years that the state of exemption was in place, more than 6,000 has been released because they prove in court that they were innocent.
But 6,000 people, if I may, that's basically 1 out of every 10 or so people that you're rounding up is innocent.
That's what I'm saying.
Is that acceptable to you as a rate?
We try to do our best, but we're not perfect. We are human beings, and human beings make mistakes.
What about those who have yet to be released, those who are still detained?
It's part of the job. If you want to have a perfect job, you can never get it, because the perfect is enemy of the good. You want to do it perfect, you will never act. So you have to do your best, and you have the duty and the responsibility to recognize your mistakes.
At the same time, one of the reforms I know that's been pushed through has meant mass hearings are now acceptable. Up to 900 people in a single hearing. How is that justice?
Absolutely. This is an innovation of the penal law.
An innovation.
It's innovation.
For 900 people to be tried at the same time.
Yeah,
that's due process to you?
It's due process because it's under the law. To do that in a legal process in court, you have to create the provision in the penal code. So we modify this responsibility, which is in the past was personal. How long you will take to conduct individual process for 76,000 case? It will take 100 years to do that. So the only way is to proceed and to change the structure.
The criticism, as you know, is that this denies people due process, that there's no way hundreds of people can get a fair trial at the same time. What I hear you saying in your mind, though, is that the end justifies the means.
Oh, no,
is that correct?
No, that's not correct. What I'm saying is, in El Salvador, you are witnessing a different country for the 21st century. If you were a lawyer, you could understand. I am a lawyer, and I study penal law from all the doctrines, different doctrines.
As a lawyer, could you defend 900 people at the same time?
Yeah, why not? Because you are not defending 900 people. You are defending one only accused, which is the structure.
Can I ask about another reform that I know has gotten a lot of attention?
Of course, yes.
The law was changed so that children can be treated as adults in the legal system. That was lowered from the age of 16 to 12. 12 seems very young to treat someone as an adult in the legal system. Help us understand why that was necessary.
Do you know why? Because young people from 12, 13 years can kill you. and they went to kill you, and they were sent to kill people because the leaders of the gangs, they understood that under 16 years old, they were not charged as an adults. So they sent the kids to kill people.
So they should be charged and treated in the legal system
I mean,
as adults.
Tell me what else could you try?
Is there any duty for the state to protect those children,
Well,
to rehabilitate them?
Absolutely. But this comes later. Now you are facing young people under 16 years old, 15, 14, they have 2, 3, 4 homicides. And the law, the general terms, allow to the gangs to kill people without being charged or, escaping of the justice. Now we trap that. We close that. It was like a loophole that was in the law, and then we closed that loophole.
As you mentioned, you are a constitutional lawyer.
Yeah.
And you've previously said when you looked at your constitution that it was very clear that it did not allow for consecutive presidential terms. That all changed in 2021 when Supreme Court magistrates who were appointed by President Bukele reinterpreted that clause to say he could run again. So here we are now. You and he are both running again for consecutive terms. Do you worry that it weakens the Constitution to have judges who are viewed as allies of President Bukele change it in his favor?
No, I mean, do you think that the legal system in the United States will be weakened because the justice of the Supreme Court were appointed by President Trump? No, I mean, this is the way that the system.
I'm asking about here in El Salvador, though.
What I'm saying is, it works in any place under the rule of law, in any democratic process. These Supreme Court chambers interpreted the Constitution. They said you can quote that Article 152, number 1. If you check that, you will find the legal base to run for President Bukele, because that article said the person who is in the presidency, if he wants to run for another period, has to fulfill 2 conditions. First, it should be in the first term, because if he was in the second term, he cannot run. And second, he has to take a leave of absence.
Can I ask you, when the court ruled that this new interpretation of the Constitution was coming out, U.S. officials came out and said that that decision undermined democracy.
Yeah, because
do you agree with that?
They don't know our legal constitution.
So you're saying they misunderstood it?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Can I ask how you would characterize the current relationship between El Salvador and the U.S.?
It's really good. We have an excellent ambassador. In the past, there were some misunderstandings because the type of ambassadors that we have, or the envoys from the administration here, they were 2 juniors. They didn't understand what was going on, and they came like they were going to their, the backyard. And that's what the president said, no, you're not coming to the backyard. This is a sovereign country. So once we respect each other, the relations are better. I mean, and for us, the United States is one of the most important allies that we have. Our population, 50% of our population lives in the United States. What we want is to maintain a good relation with a state which has been our ally, our friends, and we want, as the president said, we want to be partners. Let us treat us as partners. So, in doing that, to do business, you have to maintain good relationship. And that's what we are maintaining now with this U.S. administration and whatever could be elected in November this year. I mean, because it's not a matter of political preference. We're not Democrats, we're not Republicans. We respect any administration, any presidency that is elected by American people.
Vice President Felix Ulloa, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.